Away from the rains, let's talk about the energy sector. Now, power distributor PDS has published the first load shedding timetable in which it announces widespread power cuts across the country. At least 8 regions will face a 12-hour outage, which PDS says is due to ongoing work on their Turbo gas processing plant. We'll take a look at the areas affected by this load shedding. But first, my colleague Efwa Evans Chinri has been touring some parts of the capital looking at the impact.
Oh, now, as you can see, we have some papers to do, but we don't have the light, so we can't do the job. So some of them will come for their papers, which means...
And take it elsewhere.
Yeah, because they need it urgently. That's the problem. And the money you don't have money to pay the workers. We have to do the work before we get something to pay them. So it means we are losing.
I'm on night duty. So from work, I come to here straight. But because of the light, things are not going well. Because some medicine used to be put into fridge. But when the light is off, no, you can't use the fridge. And it has to be fan always or air condition always. But because of the light, look at this place. The place is very hot. One thing is, when the light is off, no, they don't buy. Even since morning, nobody come here for even paracetamol because of the light.
We do remember 5 o'clock. 5 and I buy light in you. I'm more customer boy about any tea or buy no light in 20 minutes.
Efwa Evans Chinri there speaking to some of the people who have been affected by the power cuts. Well, let's take a look at the areas to be affected today. So, well, this is the information that came out. It says outages due to shutdown of a Turbo gas processing plant. Accra, we're looking at Malam, Lower McCarthy, Waja Junction, Malam, Bawe, and its surrounding areas, Hansonic, Kukompe, Animal Husbandry, Letap, Zoom Lion areas, Johnson Works Factory, Top King Estate and Environs, Ashoman Estate, Atomic Energy and its surrounding areas, Kwabenya and surrounding areas, parts of Bawe, Julie Carts and Chief Palace areas, Mackenzie Estate, German Township, part of Top Base, Oblogo and surrounding areas, Salaga, Start Charts, and it goes on and on. There's a whole lot of them in Accra. It looks like pretty much the entire Accra, if you like. There's the West Hills Mall, Tuba, Kokrobite, part of Botiano, Rich Church and surrounding areas, Nyamiche, Dakuman, Rolling Circle, and that's in Medina, Social Welfare, and Sawam, Media, Sapeman, Amasaman, Shikbon Tele, Adeso, Kota, Oforikrom. So many of them, so many of the areas listed here, specific areas listed here. So if you live in these areas, you know that you're expecting about 12 hours of power cut today. Now in Tema, they are looking at Boade, Community 15, Nungwa Barrier and its environs, Community 1, parts of Community 2, Community 7, Community 11 and parts of Community 12, Esuchari, Community 25, HFC Estate and its environs, DPS School and its environs, Miocho, Central University, Pram Township, Christian Village, Gulf City, Bethlehem, Ashaiman Timber Market, Community 16, Ajekojo, Santoy, Bulaso, MF Estate at Mataheko, Afienya Zongo and its environs. And the PDS says customers should please note that since generation deficit varies, PDS may review the outages depending on the situation upstream. That is, areas on supply may experience outages or scheduled outages. Outage areas may have and their supply restored. So if you live in any of these areas, you know that you're going to be affected by the power cut. Ashanti region, there's still also quite a number of them. Getting to about 100 communities. About 100 communities. There is Zongo, Goso, Kofi Krom, Shayeso, Epitiso, Madinkra, Trapiase, Kafrase, KNUST Police Station, Maxima Junction, Hedonist, Eija Estate, Eija parts of affordable housing, Eija Zongo, Mangwase, Maxima, Bomso, Susan Chre, Etimetim Chrome, Etimetim New Site, part of Pankrono, Abed, Kumasi Shopping Mall, part of Ebrim Zongo, Antwa, Adisena, Mamponting, Agona Kumewu, Mampon. If you just say a juso, again, customers should note that since generation deficit varies, PDS may review the outages depending on the situation upstream. That is, areas on supply may experience outages, or scheduled outage areas may have their supply restored. So it will affect you, but it may also be restored depending on what's happening upstream. That's according to PDS. So do take note. This information you can find online. Go to myjoyonline.com and check out whether or not your community is a part of it. In the meantime, former CEO of GNPC, Alex Mode, says the way forward for an efficient energy sector is to ensure energy organizations run efficiently, devoid of politics. He was speaking on the business edition of PM Express on JoyNews last night. Alex Mode believes the institutions in the energy sector should be run by competent teams, as this will boost their credibility when seeking support from financial institutions.
Are we having these intermittent power shortages? And these are not intermittent power shortages. It's because of bad planning. We knew long ago the schedule of when the tie-in was going to take place. Everybody knew this. It's no news. When you have such a tie-in taking place, you have to make sure that you rebalance your fuel supply. So if some gas are going to go off, you have to make sure that you have other plants. Remember I told you that we have excess capacity to produce. Yeah. That means that you can now use those plants that you are paying for but not using them in the system. So the truth of the matter is we have enough generation capacity if even these plants go out. The problem is they've been relying on cheap gas. You see, the gas we are using right now in the West, coming from Tolo, from Jubilee Field, we don't pay for it. It's called free gas. We negotiated this to ensure that we can have 200 BCF of free gas, which will last us like 7 or 8 years. Will last us 7 or 8 years. So okay. Just to put it in perspective. So we have this free gas coming, but it's free from who we buy, but you pay the players. So that is why GNPC hasn't been paid, Ghana Gas hasn't been paid, but we are getting electricity, but we are accruing these payments. So because of this cheap, they've been so used to this cheap gas that they've forgotten that when you shut off the cheap gas, you have to bring in expensive gas from N-Gas. To bring in expensive gas from N-Gas, you have to make sure that N-Gas is happy with you in terms of your credit worthiness. That means you've paid some of the old amounts to them so that they give you a new credit line. They didn't do that. Next thing, you have to make sure you have enough crude oil in place to service all the plants that need crude oil. They didn't do that. How do you do that? You have to get financial instruments to finance it. Now, when you have pissed off all your financial institutions, you've not paid them, you've slowed down ESLA, you've used some of the ESLA money that was meant for them for other things, how are you going to raise these letters of credit? That is the current challenge they are having.
Alex, planning and financial issues, or planning or financial issues? Both of them.
Planning is
are
the first
cause
one
of the current problem.
That means that they were not listening to the technocrats. They were not making sure that they challenged the technocrats to ensure that they knew exactly when the crude oil should come in. Energy is a financial play. Okay, if you want to be in the energy industry, you have to ensure that you have your financial institutions that are backing you. That is absolutely important. To do that, it means that you have to get your shop in shape. You have to make sure that your balance sheet is good and also your income statement is good. That means that you are making profits. Otherwise, they're not going to support you, and they will need some sort of guarantee from your parents, which is government of Ghana. That currency, government of Ghana doesn't have to be guaranteeing everybody. It affects their borrowing, it affects their Eurobonds, it affects all of these things. So Ghana government doesn't have guarantees to be guaranteeing. Ghana government should wake up, because it's running a business and it has these corporations, ECG, GNPC, Ghana Gas, All of these corporations should be firing on all cylinders. They should be efficient, lean machines, not just putting a lot of people there who have no competence to do the work. They have to make sure that they have the right people there, they have the right strategy, they have the right organization, they have the right board, and they have the right management team to make these things work. This makes financial institutions very happy that you have people who can run the sector, people who understand that they cannot miss payments, they cannot renege on agreements, which is normal in the public sector, even in government. They don't pay road contractors, they don't pay fuel bill subsidies, all of that. And all of these has to stop. So we have to make sure that we have an astute financial management in all of these areas, and we stop the politics in these areas.
Alex Mode there speaking yesterday on PM Express. So let me tell you about who is going to experience what tomorrow in terms of power outages. Now, we've got a bit of a list here that tells you if you were part of it. Let's begin in the Eastern region. In the Eastern region, well, quite a number of them. Enyinem, Esiekuma, and others, Asokore, Akwedrum, Awahem, and others, Esiom, Donkokrom, in Prioso Township, Nankese, Nkoko, PDS office, and others, Odan Sawmill, Odan Township, Oyoko, St. Joseph Hospital, Susheng, part of Akwetia, and part of Suhum. That's for the Eastern region. For the Western region, we're looking at Apimenim, Ewusiejo, Agunang Kwanta, Apremdo Barracks, Air Force, Biehu, Buzia Beach, Bishop Porter Senior High School, Cirrus Oil, DVLA, Discover, Dick Farm Hotel, and you name Ifien Kwanta Hospital. Well, Ifien Kwanta Hospital is going to be have experienced power cuts, so if you need to go to the hospital, just bear in mind, and the hospital officials hopefully will make some alternate arrangements as well. Fijai Senior High School, Ghana Ghana WCL Head Office, Hotopo, Ketin, Asankregwa, Chikokompe, Lagos Town, Kwesimintim, Mexico, MPS, Insuaim, New Takrade, Prestia Township, PWD, part of Kwekuma, Sawmill, Windy Ridge Extension, Wamco, number 1. That's for the Western region. And if you go to the Central region, also just a handful of it. Afadato, Afako, Andam, Bojase Town, Akosia Village, Eswacher, entire Winneba Township, Gaje, Labi, Nkwadum, Oklum Kwanta, Ochreko, part of Kaswa Township, Papasi number 1 and 2. That's it for the Central region, really. And if you go to the Volta region, so that's Volta and Oti region, there is Abotwase, Adafianu, Adaklu, Abuade, Andokope, Asiekbe, Awakome, Ayoma, Aziave Townships, Awoko, there is Sogakope, Savietula, Todome, Chibu, Bethel Towns, and it goes on and on and on, quite a number of them. And of course, there are the caveats there that you could have power restored at a time where you actually are not supposed to have power. So that's just so you know. Central region, Western region, Eastern region, Ashanti region, the power cuts. No, Ashanti region is not experiencing the power cut tomorrow. It's a Central, Western, Eastern, and the Volta region. Volta region includes OT region as well. You're experiencing power cuts tomorrow. So